Hi everybody, thanks for watching. Today I'm going to show you how to change the oil in a 2002 Ford Focus. Couple things you're going to need. You're going to need a new oil filter. The 2002 Ford Focus takes a 8316. This is Fram, you can pick it up at Walmart. It costs $4 or $5. You also need motor oil. The capacity on the O2 is 4.5 quarts, so we've got 5 quarts. This is 5W30. Manufacturer recommends 5W20, but 5W30 will suffice just fine. So you need those two things. You're also going to need an oil filter wrench. It's just something to help you grip the wrench. If you don't have one of these, they're just $3 or $4 at your big box store like Walmart, or you can get it at any automotive store. And finally, you're going to need something to collect the oil that you drain, and I'll have to go run in the garage and grab that. You're also going to need some sort of wrench to open up the oil plug. I don't know the size of the bolt just yet, so I've got my ratchet set here, my socket set here, that is, and I'll put in the bottom what size socket actually works. Other things you may want, but you don't necessarily need: a pair of work gloves. I always use my work gloves. They're padded. When I slip and hit the ground, no foul, it doesn't hurt. $10. You can use a creeper if you want, don't need it. Don't want to insult anybody. We're going to show everybody exactly how to do this. The hood release is under the dashboard for the driver's console, and it looks like this has a little hood release icon. Just pull that down. You'll hear a pop, and you'll see your hood is slightly ajar. Reaching under the hood next to the Ford emblem, there'll be a catch in there that you'll have to pull to the right and lift up the hood. There we go. And there is your 16 valve 4-cylinder ZX engine. The hood prop is on the right or left side of the engine. Just a little yellow thing, and it'll hold it up just like that. And now let's get to it. A couple of things you want to get familiar with. The oil cap, again, this says 5W20, but 5W30 won't hurt at all. This is the dipstick. We'll use this to check the oil level when we re-add the oil. Going underneath, we are going to look for the bottom of the oil pan. See the engine, or the transmission, and then here's the oil pan, and on the rear side of that there should be a bolt, and that is what we're going to loosen up. And here it is. Let's see if I can get around. Right there is the bolt that we're going to loosen. So I'm going to fit my sockets to it to find the exact size, and I'll put that at the bottom of the screen and tell you. Before we go ahead and empty that oil pan and undo that bolt, we need some sort of collection device to recycle the oil. This is an oil pan that you can get at any big box store, again, like Walmart. I think it holds 9 quarts. That's enough for 2 of these oil changes. And you pull those little plugs out on the top, and it'll drain right in there. And then you close it up so you can transport it. And when you go to your recycling center, just open up that white cap on the right side and pour it in like a big giant jug. So metric, 13 mil, that's the size. Put it on your wrench. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Make sure your oil catch pan is underneath. Get ready. And I'm going to get my gloves on in a second here, I think. There it goes. Okay. Now, since I did the heavy pushing, I take the gloves off so I don't soil them. You can do this in rubber gloves too. And I'm just going to hand unloosen this. Oil under it. 4.5 quarts should come out, maybe a little less if this burns oil. There it goes. Okay, we just have a drip. This has it's run for about 5 minutes now. It's just a slow drip. So you're going to take the the plug that you just pulled out and inspect that to make sure it doesn't have anything obviously wrong with it. Now you can put a little thread sealer on here if you think you have a leak or you want to be absolutely sure. I don't typically do that until I know there's some issue. So we're just going to thread this back on, and your service manual or your owner's manual will specify a torque. I just hand tighten these or snug them a little bit with a wrench. Just a couple, not too tight. And now your engine is empty of oil. Okay, to find the oil filter, you know where you just drained the oil. That's at the bottom of the oil pan. And there's the plug right there. If you look above and behind that, you see this boot here, but then behind it in the center is the white cylindrical thing about the size of a can of vegetables. That is your oil filter. You see the oil filter. I've got the strap or the oil filter wrench around it, and I'm just going to tighten it and slowly turn it with little tiny increments. Trust me, it's difficult to get to, but it's easier when you can use both hands and you're not talking to a camera. But I do this for you people. Okay, so we're just going to keep loosening this. I'll put the camera down, and pretty soon, after maybe a half turn, I'll be able to hand loosen this, and there it goes. So I'm looking for a quick way to pull my arm out of here so I don't scrape it on any of the engine components or the mounts or the braces of the frame. And I don't see one, so I'm going to go around the top. I just don't want my arm underneath it when it goes loose, because I don't want, there we go, the oil to get on me, although a little did. So we'll just keep loosening this up, and it will drop. I'm going to put the camera down so I don't get anything on the lens. Got the old oil filter draining with the whole side down into that, and I've given it a few minutes for all the oil to drip off the frame. So all we have to do now is put on the new oil filter, tighten it up a little bit, and add oil, and we're complete. There we go, starting to get snug. And that is in there. Okay, so oil plug is back in place. New filter is on. Now we just need to add the new oil. By the way, this is sitting next to the Ford Focus. This is a 1992 Geo Metro, and this has 252,000 miles on it. And guess what? I change the oil every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, and this sucker's going to go another 250,000 miles. Go ahead and undo the oil cap. Pull that out. There's no oil in the car right now. Got this long filter I like to use. 5 quarts, it takes 4.5. So I'm going to pour most of this bottle, most of this jug of oil into the engine. Just going to go slow so I don't overflow the case. Just as a precaution, when the oil's about 3/4 of the way added, I like to look down below and double check to see if my oil plug is dripping, and it's not. So that's on there snugly and nothing's coming out of the oil filter. So let's go ahead and add the rest. I've now added about 4 quarts of oil, so I'm going to go check the level. Down here on the dipstick, it says engine oil. That's a great clue. Pull that straight out, wipe it down with something, and on this one it's got 2 little holes. Add if it's below the bottom hole. You want it to read in between those 2 holes. So we'll push this back in, pull it out, and look for the level of the oil. It looks pretty good. We'll let what we add settle. Okay, we let it sit for a minute. I'm going to pull out. wipe it down again. You don't want to overfill these. That's just as bad as running out of oil. Okay, we're towards the full mark, so I'm going to stop adding oil there. And in a couple days, I'll check. Let's button this up and back it off the ramps. Cap that off. Okay, for some reason the camera cut off and you didn't get to see my fantastic job of backing up. But there it is, off the ramps. I'm letting it run for a second because I want to see if the oil will get in the oil filter, and I'm going to recheck the fluid level. Okay, it's level now. That may make a slight difference. Okay, after backing the car up so it's level and running the car for a minute to get some of the oil in the oil filter, I checked the level again and it needed a little bit more oil. So it took exactly 4.5 quarts of oil, and when I pull out the dipstick, it is between the add and full lines, so we are good to go. We're done. Alright everybody, that took about 15 minutes. It took a little bit longer because I had a camera, but it's a great way for you to learn your vehicle and get a little confidence doing your own oil change. All you need is an oil wrench, an oil filter, some oil, and some sort of collection device, and you're in business. So, kind of common sense, but if you've never changed oil before, it's always good to watch someone else do it for the first time before you go out and tackle it yourself. Hopefully this video will show you some of the hints on how to successfully do it. And as always, thank you for watching.